Hello, and welcome back to their Dokkan battle video. So, INT GOTENKS' EZA is now live in-game. I think this is one of the very few times they've ever split up dual Dokkan Fests away from each other. Now, this EZA is actually weak to Heavenly Events, but I've seen just a lot of people cheesing it with just Super Vegeta, because by far he is, like, the best usable unit for the EZA. Obviously, I think Super Saiyan 3 GOTENKS is definitely better than Super Vegeta, but you can't use him to beat his own EZA because he has like the super damage reduction against INT types. So it's not gonna matter anyway. Plus, you wouldn't even have him fully EZA'd until you finish the EZA anyway. So for actually just completing the EZA, Super Vegeta is easily the best like Heavenly Events unit in the entire game. So just make a double Super Vegeta team with whatever you got and just blast this all the way out of here. Now, with INT GOTENKS here, I actually do think he is quite good. I really do like how he's basically he just has no conditions. It's like unconditional everything. He has a couple, right? There are like one or two things in his like kit that are just left over from when he initially came out, and then it's his transformation conditions, but everything besides that is pretty much conditionless. So I do really like how consistent GOTENKS should be, because 99% of the time what's going to happen is you're just going to go into GOTENKS. He might start out, you know, base form, and then you kind of just float him off twice, and by the time he comes around, hopefully you're still above 70% HP, and even if you're not, he has the chance to just heal you back over it anyway. So there's a high possibility that you just kind of heal back to the threshold that you need to be able to use his active skill, and then you just kind of launch the Super Saiyan 3 GOTENKS mode, and you know, then he has unconditional 70% chance to dodge that stacks up every single time he dodges again, while also being able to like shoot out a bunch of damage, triple super attacks while raising his defense every single time he does it. It's like he's a fun looking unit, right? So I do definitely want to try him out, want to see what I can do, make him look like as crazy as possible. Only thing with him is, right, I don't have like Topo or anything like that. So when we do take him into an event, I really don't know what fight we're probably gonna go into. Probably one of the longer ones, probably like Gogeta or something, and then just see how he does. I'm going to assume it's gonna be pretty good, right? Just because his kit is just so tightly woven, which makes me kind of annoyed when it comes to the boy Bardock. Because what were they doing with Bardock? What was the reason to make him so bad when INT GOTENKS, Kefla, and Super Vegeta are all as good as they are? Like, why did we need to do this to INT Bardock? Or AGL Bardock? Why did he need the treatment that he got? It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me personally, but there's nothing we can really do about AGL Bardock. He's gonna be garbage for his entire lifespan. Maybe, just maybe, when his Super EZA comes out, he'll be better, but you know, it is what it is. Also, I will say, INT GOTENKS himself, like, he actually is a decent leader skill. Like, the special pose / youth, you can actually get like some really interesting units, especially now that we have stuff like the LR Gammas, the physical Ribrianne EZA next to the tech Ribrianne LR, and then you can get Bulma on there as well, right? Like there's some interesting stuff that you can play around there. Obviously you can also do that on like different teams. Mainly I believe 21's team you can do the same thing. You can have 200% lead on like half the units, but thinking mainly about like GOTENKS himself, like say if you didn't have 21 and you really wanted to run the physical Ribrianne, LR Ribrianne, and all them, you could just run INT GOTENKS' team and it should be competitive enough to pretty much get you through anything. Double INT GOTENKS might be a little risky at the start, but physical Ribrianne does seem quite good, especially if she can get her orbs, you know, potentially up to 88% chance to dodge. I mean, like that is really good if she can get it. And then you got LR Ribrianne, which again with a new partner to give her all her links is also quite good. Bulma's still good. The LR Gammas are obviously really strong. The same thing with Gamma 1, he's still really good, right? You got a lot of options on like special pose and stuff now, so it's not like a complete L of a team. So that is good. There is also like a bunch of other EZAs. You got the INT Topo Pride Troopers, who I think are just okay. Like they're fine. They're a runnable unit, but they're nothing special. I don't like the Great Saiyaman Super Saiyan 2 EZA. I don't think he's very good. And then you got the AGL Gotenks and Ghosts, who could have definitely been a lot better. I don't like the fact that they need to super attack 5 times to get like dodge chance, while only having guaranteed additional super attacks against multiple enemies. I'm not a fan of that. Like, if you were gonna make it so that this unit needed to attack more, you should give them more attacks in their passive. Like, it just makes sense. 5 attacks is a lot, asking for a unit who's more than likely gonna super attack a single time every single turn. That's like, on turn 9, he might have 40% chance to dodge. Like, that's just not good enough in this day and age, right? Especially when these events are as hard as they are at the start. It's just like, what are we really doing here? But that's not who we're talking about right now. It's Gotenksing time, right? God tanks. And I do think that they cooked with him. I don't know if he's better than Kefla. I think it's gonna really depend on like the setup. I mean, like right now, Kefla has a really good setup, but the second like units that give her orbs aren't good anymore, she's probably gonna start to fall behind. That would be my guess, because like that's her main thing, is that she has orb conditions, whereas Gotenks doesn't have any conditions. Gotenks' overall stats are probably gonna be a little bit lower, but he's gonna be a bit safer because he doesn't have any conditions at all, right? Whereas Kefla, she needs orbs to be able to get like all her funny haha mechanics. So once the people that are changing her orbs aren't as good anymore, it could potentially be kind of bad for her, especially if we don't get any new orb changers. So I can definitely see that being an issue for Kefla. But for Gotenks, again, he doesn't have to worry about literally anything besides transforming, which with the power of a lot of the characters that we have nowadays is not hard to do, right? I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, but being above 100 HP is not really something that you can control. And it's like, what? I mean, yeah, but at the same time, a lot of these fights, you're healing a lot of HP back from same type of orbs, because so many of your characters nowadays have just extremely high HP pools. So as long as you're making sure that you're like topped up on HP, as long as you don't immediately get smacked by like one of those big damage super attacks on like one of your weaker characters, is there really going to be an instance where you're not going to be above 70% HP? And if so, you're probably just dead, right? It's either because like a lot of these events, you're kind of just alive until you get one shot, which is why being at a low HP is, I think, worse than being at a higher HP, because I feel like being above 70% HP is probably going to happen the majority of the time, right? And I've had this opinion a lot in the past, mainly when it was Tech Gogeta versus STR Vegito, right, way back then, where those conditions could not simultaneously be bad. And the reason is, if one of them is bad, especially if you're running them together, if you're unable to get one of them, you're gonna be able to get the other one. And I've always kind of had that stance, right? Where it's like, if your condition is to be, if you have 2 units and one of them's condition is to be lower than 70% HP and the other one is to be higher than 70% HP, and then the one who's lower heals, how is it hard, right? Because you're like, because if you're above the HP threshold, then you can just transform with the one who's above the HP threshold and you're fine, right? But if it's below, then you just transform with the one that's below and you heal and you're back up to full, and then you can transform the other one. Like, they cannot simultaneously be bad. Obviously, is it annoying to have to play around something that's not in your control? Yes. But at the same time, like, if you're low on HP, you can transform with the characters that need to be low, and if you're high, you can transform with the characters that need to be high. Especially if you're running them together, it's just like they can't simultaneously be bad unless you have the worst luck ever, where on the turns where you have the character who needs to be lower, you're healing over that threshold, and then on the turns where you need to be higher, you're getting hit immediately on the turn that you just healed on, and now you're below it again, right? That is the only instance where you can have that issue, where like they're separated and it's like, oh, well, I can't do this now, but I can do this then. It's like, that's the only time that happens. So I don't really have a problem with him being needed to be higher than 70% HP, just heal up a little bit, right? We have plenty of units nowadays that can do that for you. Let's go ahead and EZA Gotenks here. He did not EZA with his sub EZA character, which I don't even know who his sub EZAs were. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm really trying to think about it. I have no clue. Who did he drop with? I don't even remember. I'm gonna be really honest. No clue. Anyway, INT GOTENKS is good. I do like him. We're gonna take him into events soon. I probably will slap a sticker on him. Do let me know how you guys feel about INT GOTENKS in the comments down below. What teams you guys used to beat his EZA. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.